Quasi here, and in today's video, I want to share with you how you can achieve your goals the easiest way possible and eliminate any unwanted resistances, hidden resistances that you didn't even know existed. By the end of this video, you're going to learn the fundamental difference between desire and intention and how to tap more into intention to achieve your goals. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce that I made a free bootcamp for you. If you scroll down and click on the pinned comments, you'll be able to subscribe to our exclusive email list, and we can send you that bootcamp where it's a few of the top videos from the channel in a sequential order that'll help you get a transformation right now. On top of that, you'll also get to other bonus material that I can't really share on the channel. So just scroll down, click on it, and put in your email and you'll get access to it. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get started. So in today's video, I have nothing on the board, but what we're going to be talking about is the difference between desire and intention. Now, I haven't touched on this topic in a very long time, and it kind of builds up on the last topic that I covered in the channel. If you click on the link in the description, I'll put a little eye up here. We talked about awareness and how to tap into awareness so that all of this content that you're seeing around you, it doesn't bother you, it doesn't faze you, but you can truly draw state from within. Okay. Now, why I want to talk about desire and intention is I see so many people, they get into focusing on the wrong things, keeping on drumming up the past and all of these resistances that aren't really serving them. So in this video, I want to vanquish that once and for all. Let's get started with the biggest problem. Okay. When achieving or setting about to achieve a goal, people stay stuck in it for longer than necessary. Okay, they keep doing the wrong things or they keep focusing on the wrong things, which then leads them to doing the wrong things, which doesn't get them results, right? So the biggest problem I see is most focus on desire, and they think that they need to want it bad enough in order to get it. Okay, they think they need desire to achieve goals. Now, this is a big lie. You do not need to have desire to achieve goals. So the truth is, desiring something and daydreaming about it does nothing. You can desire and daydream about your goals all you want, but nothing will happen. Do you want to know why? It's because what actually achieves goals is something that's a combination of both the heart and the mind. Okay? So let's talk about that. You have your heart and you have the mind. When these come in harmony, then your goals are achieved. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you really want something, but your mind can't conceive of the possibility of it. You'll never be able to direct your will towards it. So now another interesting terminology comes up that'll allow us to explain intention a little bit better. The mind is capable of will, and the heart is capable of power. When the heart and the mind comes together, this power is directed via the means of the will. If you imagine a river and channels that are directing the river to a particular location, kind of like the Egyptians, I don't know what they did. They kind of directed the water from the Nile to their crops. And they created this irrigation system, right? And they were able to do that by creating these channels, if I remember correctly. Now, this goes to show that when you create a channel and give it a particular direction, power can now be focused in one direction. If you just have power, then you're always going to be in chaos. If you just have will, then you're going to lack the substance. So both are needed. So if you just go by the whims of your heart, you're always going to be going on the next thing that you like and the next thing that you like. You're just going to be moving in all different directions. You're going to be guided by your likes and your dislikes. So there'll be no focus. The mind is what gives it focus, right? The mind is capable of will. So desire is in the heart. Intention is actually in the mind through will. But when you connect the two, you get a powerful form of intention called outer intention. Okay? So the problem is people feel that you need a desire to achieve your goals. And it couldn't be further from the truth, because desire doesn't really achieve goals. Desire creates impetus for you to channel it towards the goals. So if I were to describe it more like this, let's say we have desire here, right? Desire, and you have your goal here. Now here's what happens. Desire is the direct focus on the goal. Please remember this. Desire is the direct focus on the goal. But what bridges the gap between desire and goal is the intention. Intention. So intention is what causes movement from desire to goal. So desire is the focus on the goal itself, and intention is the focus on the movement towards the goal. Now you might be asking, well, how is this relevant? Think about a time in your life when you actually achieved what you wanted. You probably just let go of that. You probably weren't thinking about that as much as you were before when you weren't achieving it, right? You were just immersed in the process and it happened. To give an example, for me, when I set about this entrepreneurial journey and I set these revenue goals, I remember setting these goals, and when I set these goals, nothing would happen. I would just stay stuck. The more I would think, fantasize, daydream about the goals, nothing would happen. As soon as I abandon or even just let go of the goals and just immerse myself in the process, all of a sudden it would just happen. So my first ever 20K month, I never thought I would hit it as quickly as I did. You know, I wanted to get out of college and, you know, not do a 9-to-5 and not work for a boss and just do what I wanted to do. And I was like, well, I just want to hit a 5K month. But then I set a goal for 20K month. And the more I focused on that 5K month, the more I was actually stuck on zero. The more I focused on the 20K month, the more I was stuck, you know, with this inconsistent revenue. As soon as I let go of it, in May, as soon as I quit, you know, I left college and I was supposed to go into my full-time job. This was May of 2019. That month, I made nothing because there was immense pressure on me. There was a lot of focus on the goal. The more I focused on the goal, the more I remained in desire. And the more I remained in desire, what it does is it creates the separation. It emphasizes the separation between your current and your desired, you know, your goal. So your current situation and what your goal is. It actually creates more and more of this focus on you staying where you are. So let's get to another key point here before we conclude that topic. Desire is the assumption that the goal will never be achieved. There will always be a separation between current and your desired situation, aka where you are now and where the goal is. Assumption of impossibility. Okay? The fact that you need to desire means that the goal isn't within reach. Therefore, desiring is a sort of mechanism of fulfillment of that. A psychological fulfillment that, yeah, the goal is within me. Intention is actually the assumption that the goal is possible. Let's just move towards it. Assumption of possibility. Now, when we make assumptions, they get us into an identity or a state of being. When you get into the state of being that the goal is already yours, then you shift more to favorable lifelines where, you know, the goal actually is achievable, and you slowly start to move towards that. When you assume that the goal is impossible, then you assume that identity, the beingness that in this life that I live, the goal is impossible. And therefore you shift to corresponding lifelines. You see how this is happening? Who you are, the energy, the form that you take on corresponds to the parameters, the vibration of that target, the goal lifeline. So when you say to yourself that this is possible, you start to resonate with that frequency where the goal has been achieved. When you say this is impossible and you keep desiring, you resonate with the frequency of the life where the goal isn't possible. So that's essentially how it works. So going back to my story, when I set the goal of 20K a month, I never achieved it. When I let go of the 20K a month and I just immersed myself in the process, It just happened. I kept moving up. May was 0, June was 5K, July was 8K, and August was my first ever 20K month. And I never expected it to grow like that. I thought maybe it would take like a year or two. And then when I let go of it, you simply set a goal and you let go of it. Okay? And when I let go of it again, from August to January of the next year, I was able to hit my first of 100K month in the business. So all of this happened not because I kept incessantly focusing on the goal, but there was an incessant focus on the process itself. So this again emphasizes this other point that I made in one of the previous videos. I'll also put it in the link, that whenever you directly focus on the goal, you never achieve it. The companies that focus on profits and have profitability in their mission statements are never the most profitable. But the companies that focus on the customers are the most profitable, right? So this journey to goal achievement is actually oblique. The focus on the process itself brings the goal. The focus on the customer itself brings the revenue. Do you see what I mean? So intention is the focus on the process, aka the movement. Desire is just a focus on the goal itself. Don't get me wrong. We determined here that desire has its place as well. Because without desire, intention would never be born. So what desire essentially is the transmutation of this feeling into intention. So desire is the feeling itself, and intention contains the transmuted element of that feeling. That transmuted element is channeled by will. Do you see how this is working? The feeling I want is transmuted into a particular channel via the will. So anytime in your life, any goal that you wanted wasn't achieved by pure desire or pure will, but actually just by the choice that you make, a combination of both of it. You made this empowered choice. There was either a pain or a pleasure associated with it. So this is why most of the time in people's lives, big changes happen when they come from a place of pain, because the impetus is so strong that they can immediately channel it into intention. So a lot of the times, people who've been smokers or they've been in destructive habits, one day they woke up and they looked at their lives and they felt immense pain. And they said to themselves, fuck it, it can't go on like this anymore. This has to change. And because of that firm resolve in their decision, change was brought about. So that's really how it happens, in a conjunction of the two. So what another big problem most people face is when you stay stuck in desire, you've got to understand desire usually begins from a place of resistance. You look at your current situation and you're like, I don't like this, right? So there's a scale. So this is the scale of desire. There are two ends to it. One end is the resistance and one end is the attractor. So this is the aversion and that's the attractor. When we begin right here. We look at our bank accounts and we're like, I don't like this. We look at ourselves in the mirror and we're like, oh, I'm too fat and I'm not healthy enough. We look at like how we've been feeling, we're like, I don't like this. So we begin here. Most people aren't able to switch and go here. Okay? When you can switch and go here, the faculty of will is available to you. So this is why when you say, oh, I need to desire, most is stuck at what they don't like, more of what they don't like. And they keep focusing on that. When you keep focusing on more of what you don't like, you assume that the goal is impossible and therefore you don't achieve it. So what you must understand is it's important for you to, as quick as you can, get to that point of, what do I want instead? And what can I do in order to get there? So this is at least the lowest level of it. The focus on, okay, what do I want instead? And what can I do to get there? Instead of focusing on, I don't want this. I don't like this. And focusing on, what can I do to get rid of this? Instead of focusing on what can I do to get rid of this, what can I do to at least get the desired situation? So most people, they start businesses because they don't they can't afford their bills or something, or they don't want to work for a boss. Just like me, I started my business because I didn't want to work for someone else. But within that, there was still a focus on what I did want. And because I could focus on what I did want, I was able to move towards it, right? But it can get increasingly difficult for people. Just because you start something from the wrong place doesn't mean you can't shift your focus. You're not doomed. But it just requires a certain level of awareness to see that you're focusing on the unwanted rather than what is wanted. Okay, this is one of the biggest lessons for me. If you can do this, a lot of things will change for you. Because you've just got to look at what's going on now. What is the predominant focus right now? Am I focusing more of what I don't want and giving it more of my energy? Or am I focusing more on what I do want and giving it most of my energy? So this is why desire can be very, very harmful, because it presupposes the focus on what isn't wanted. Intention, the movement, actually directs most of your focus to what is wanted, right? Because you're focused on moving towards the goal. So that's basically it in a nutshell. And now let's talk about the keys that you can use right now to focus more on intention rather than on desire, right? Key number 1. Hope you can see this. Key number 1 is, if you're focused more on the goal right now, shift your focus from the goal to the process, what you do know, okay? Shift focus from goal, not goal to process. Hope you can see that. So here's the thing. When you focus on your goal, it actually gives you ideas on what the process would be. If I were to focus on, okay, I want a healthy body, right? I want to get fit. What's the process? Oh, immediately I know that, well, if I want a healthier body, I've got to start eating healthier, or I've got to start working out and exercising. So that's the process. That's how it begins. And then you keep focusing on the process and you keep moving towards the goal, and more of the process becomes unfolded to you. To give you an example, in my business, I used to know, okay, well, this is the goal. I want to get to this revenue number. And in order to get to that, well, I just got to, reach out to prospective clients and make offers. Well, what's another way to do that? Well, I could make YouTube videos. There's another process. Well, I could make ads. There's another process. And then I focus more on the process of making ads, and then I get more ideas into the process. So all of this journey in a grand accumulation is for you to move forward towards the goal. Even when you perceive that you're moving backwards, you're actually moving forwards in the grand scheme of things. But your limited mind can't grasp that you're actually moving forwards. So sometimes you might think that, oh yeah, just because this month I made less money, I went from making 10K to 5K. Your mind might think, oh shit, I'm moving backwards. Of course you are, from the relative viewpoint of your goal. But from the relative viewpoint of the universe, it might just be a stepping stone for you to move 2 steps forward, right? So you got to know that. So shift your focus from the goal to the process as soon as you can. The focus on the goal gives you ideas into what the process could be. But try your best to focus as much as you can towards what you want. This is a surefire way to focus on what is wanted rather than what isn't wanted. Because when you focus on the goal, you can easily fall unconscious into victim mentality and desire of, I don't have this and I don't have that. That won't serve you. That's number 1. Number 2, here's what most people get wrong. They think from watching something like this or reading a book where they say desire is bad, some ancient yogic book, they think, oh man, desires are terrible. Let's fight all of our desires and try to sweep it under the rug. That'll create more suppression and repression and cause more problems down the line. Instead of doing that, let your desires be. If you find that you daydream about your goals and the vision, do it. There's no problem around that. There's a difference between plotting a vision and just like pure desiring. It's this emotional pull. When you feel this emotional pull and this resistance towards your current situation, that's what's going to cause this suppression and repression, not a So you've got to look at it in terms of what is the underlying feeling that arises. Is the underlying feeling resistance towards what is, or is the underlying feeling a passion towards what is wanted? That kind of desire will always be transmuted into intention. But the kind of desire that entails a resistance towards what is will always take your intention the other way. Now the goal gets switched to the undesired outcome, which is your current situation. This is why people keep staying stuck in a feedback loop. They say, oh, well, I want to make money because I don't want bills, or I don't want debt. So then they keep staying in debt because the goal now becomes debt. The content of their focus is now debt. They're like, I don't want to fail business. I want to do this because I don't want to fail business. Then their goal becomes failed business, and the intention becomes, how do I get to a failed business? What's the movement towards the failed business? So this is how people keep themselves stuck in a feedback loop. So instead of doing that, don't resist your desires. Simply let them be. Let them exist. Let the desires exist. If you find right now that there is a resistance towards your current situation, try your best to just simply observe it without moving with it. Okay? In the previous video, I talk a lot about this. And observation simply means acknowledging the existence of it without labeling it. Whenever you label something negative as negative, it takes on a life of its own within you. It becomes this thing you can recall later on and be like, see, this is bad. This is bad and I don't want bad. It's all a part of it. The good and the bad are all parts of it. Simply observe them. They're just content, they're just there. This way, it'll just dissolve. Because right now, what most people don't understand is something is trying to make its way out of you, whether it be this desire. Don't try to even fulfill desires that you don't like. It'll breed more desires that you don't like. Instead, simply watch them in awareness. Feel the feelings, acknowledge them, allow yourself to feel them, but know that you're not the feeler. You're the one that watches the feeler, right? You're watching this feeling. There is the sense perceptions that perceive the world, and then there is the mind that processes the sense perception. But there is that which that observes the mind. Stay as that. When you stay as that, all of these things, they naturally play their course out, okay? They naturally work themselves out by themselves. Soon you'll find that you're not left with that anymore. If you keep finding that you keep suffering through the same cycles, it's because the same things keep playing over and over again, and you keep moving with them, breeding them, or resisting them and stuffing them in, and then they come back later. That won't serve you either. Instead, the best thing to do is to understand the surrender mechanism, or just simply be observation, simply be the watching. So I made a video on that too. I again put it in the link in the comments below. Make sure you watch that in full. This is the most powerful thing you can do. Don't resist your desires. If there are desires, let them be. Don't fight them. And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this was helpful. Let's do a quick recap of what we talked about. Today we talked about desire versus intention, and why, desire isn't bad and intention isn't bad, but you need both. A combination of both is needed for goal achievement. But most people think that you need this burning, intense desire to achieve your goals without anything else. It's not even action. People think that, oh yes, intention is just action. It's not. You've grossly misunderstood it if you think intention is just action. Action is the physical equivalent of intention. Intention is actually this inner resolve, this choice that you make. Kind of like that choice I make to hold this pen right now. The choice I make to lift this pen up. Achieving your goals should be that easy, not such a complex battle. It's because you make such a huge drama out of it that it becomes difficult. Let it take its own time. Let it run its own course. Let whatever comes up, come up. Go with the flow. Don't try to control the flow, but direct it. Kind of like having sails, right? Like you're kind of navigating a boat and you have these sails that you set up according to the wind. So there's that. And we talked about the heart and the mind, and how the heart is capable of desire, power. The mind is capable of intention, will. On the extreme side of the mind, there is this inner intention where you say, I will launch a battle on the world. I'll fight to the death to get this. And on the extreme side of the heart is pure desire. It's like, I don't care about movement. I want this, I want this, I want this. It's like a little child. But when the little child is led by its parent, then great things can happen. So, power, will. In the middle ground of it is outer intention. When power and will come together, outer intention is born, where it presupposes that the goal is already possible, it's in the bag. You're not focused on doing something to get the goal, but somehow it happens on its own accord. And we talked about how desire is the assumption that it's impossible to get, but it's just a resting in the state of wanting. Intent is the assumption, the state of being that it's already possible, just simply requires movement. So desire is the focus, the direct focus on the goal. Intention is the focus on the movement towards the goal. And finally, we talked about how to get more into intention and less into desire. Number one is just shifting your focus from the goal to the process. When you focus on the goal doesn't happen. When you focus on the process, the goal comes as a byproduct. When you focus on money, money doesn't come. When you focus on giving value to your customers, money flows as a byproduct. Number two, don't resist desires, just let them be. When you resist desires, you create more desires. When you feed your desires, you create more desires. When you escape your desires, you create more desires. When you suppress them, repress them, you create more of them. Instead, let them be. Surrender them. Watch them. Feel them. Don't resist. Don't try to change them. Just let them be as they are. Whatever is coming up, let it come up and arise as it is. Just shift your focus to what is wanted. And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this was valuable. Just leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this. If you have any questions, if you'd like me to make videos on anything else. And I wanted to quickly announce that spots for the free consult are now open. Click on the link in the description below to sign up for the free one-to-one consult with us to see if we can work closer together to help you achieve your goals in the Reality Mastery Program. Now, who we typically work with are entrepreneurs who are stuck at a certain revenue level in their businesses. They want to scale up, they want to make more money, they want to, be fulfilled by what they're doing. But what they're finding is they keep hitting this hidden barrier. Either they have inconsistent revenue, or they just are stuck at a certain revenue level. They have all of the tactics and strategies, but what they're seeing is it's not a tactical or strategic problem, but a perspective problem, an identity problem. They're operating from the same place of being, expecting something different to happen. Right? If that sounds like you're wanting to take it to the next level and you're wanting to do it the most oblique way possible, then click on the link in the description below to sign up for a call with us. Let's see if we can help. The free Facebook group is open for you to take advantage of as well. The link for that is also in the description. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Peace.